Marriage begins with vows. Your vows to another, to love them and cherish them and to be there in times of sickness and in health. But divorce, well, it doesn't come with any such promises, but maybe it should. Here are 5 vows to make with yourself after divorce. Vow number 1, I refuse to let my ex take my future. When you're in the early stages of divorce, all you can think about is what you have lost. If it's unwanted, you're probably still trying to fall out of love with this person. You can't imagine life without them. You can't imagine happiness without them. Yet all of that mental energy and all of that time spent on them, spent on the past, spent on what was lost, keeps you from living. It keeps you from creating and building and being in the life that you deserve. So yes, some of that is lost. Yes, it may have been taken from you, but do not allow your ex to take away your future. That is yours and yours alone. Vow number 2, I refuse to let this experience define me. I remember just after my divorce was final, and I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and on the paperwork, I had to check marital status. And I hesitated because I hated checking that little box that said divorced, because it felt like by putting it on that paper that it was some key component, some key feature of who I was. And I think the reason that I balked at that is because in that time period, I felt like it defined me. I felt like I was walking around with some sign that said the divorced one. But that's not really true. Yes, it's a piece of your life. It is a piece of your story, but it is not the only part of your story. It is also not the most important part of your story. So do not allow this one event to define you. It's a piece of you. It will always be a piece of you, but it is not you. Vow number 3, I refuse to allow one person to determine my worth. I remember when I first learned of my ex's infidelity and then, of course, the abandonment, I felt so unworthy, so insignificant. I felt completely discarded. And then one day I had an epiphany of why in the world am I allowing this one person, and truthfully, this one person of questionable character, why am I allowing him to determine my worth? That's foolish. He doesn't have that power over me. No one person does. And so remember that your worth is defined by so much more than one person's view of you. Don't allow that single 1-star review to determine your value. Your value is so much more than what they say. So don't let them set your limits. Vow number 4, I have not come this far to only come this far. And this vow is true no matter where you are in this process, whether you just learned that you're facing an unwanted divorce or whether you're 5 years out. It makes no difference. Regardless of where you are, you're not done. Your story's not over yet. You have more to do, more to learn, more to give, more to live. You have not come this far to only come this far. So keep taking those steps. Vow number 5, I will find a way to see some good in this situation. This was actually the first vow that I made with myself, and I made it mere moments after I received the text from my then husband ending the marriage. I was collapsed on the floor. I knew nothing about what my future was going to hold. But I looked up at my dad and I said, I need to find a way to make some good come out of this. And this is the hardest vow, because you're facing some very real loss, some very real and significant pain. And so to be told that there's something good in all of that can feel so false, so dismissive. But yet if you make that promise to yourself that you're going to figure it out, you don't have to set a timeline on it. You don't have to know when or how. But just make that vow to yourself, because you deserve it. You can find a way to find some good in this whole situation. And really what all of these vows come down to is this. It's a promise to yourself to live the life that you have, not the life that you lost.